Alright, firstly, Dedi, thank you for having me on your show. It's going to be an honor to share with you a little bit about my life. I was brought to Bali by a guy who was at the gym in China who said, you hate it in China, why are you living here? You could live in Bali, have a business in China, just go back and forth. And I gave it a shot. I got off the plane in Bali and the air smelled right. It smelled like home. So I moved to Bali, and that was in 12 years ago, and I haven't left since. I go back, occasionally to the United States, but I live here full time. Bali is my home.
I see. What did you like best about this island?
Uh, I think it's first of all, it was the people and endless smiles. I mean, the Balinese people have a smile for everyone. Secondly, the people reminded me of Mexico, and I had a big business in Mexico as a furniture manufacturer. And the way that people were humble, simple, small craftsmen, it was just like being in Mexico again. I felt warm. I related to them,
Mm.
and I loved eating with the families. The people were so, their heart just opened up to me.
Mm.
And I learned Bahasa, which was a great help for me.
Oh, amazing! Can you can you
Give
tell
an
us
example?
give an example of
Ya,
beautiful
pasti
words?
dong. Saya sudah lama tinggal di Bali 12 tahun.
Luar biasa.
Ya, luar biasa. Terus tinggal di Umalas.
Luar biasa. Amazing. So what's alive in you right now? What's alive in you?
The realization that I don't want to be retired. I had thought 2 years ago that I wanted to retire, that I was burned out of design. I no longer have creativity, that the young people were overtaking me too quickly. I couldn't compete. And I went into a slight depression, Diddy. I felt useless. I felt old. I felt broken. And then I said, I've got to turn it around. I have to work again. Because that's what I do. I work. And I did turn my life around. And I'm back into it. Anything of beauty just inspires me. I'm into jewelry now, clothing, furniture, accessories, lamps, wall art, statues, candle holders, gardens, villa renovation, all of it.
Amazing. Can you share with us the tools or the strategies that you use to turn your life around?
When I'm in the depth of my depression,
Yes.
I only see black. I can't leave my room. My only comfort is a sugar overdose at night. I get on the phone and get Gojek to bring me family size ice cream from Gusto. I gain kilos and kilos of fat, which sends me into a deeper depression. So it's a downward spiral. I can't get out of it. I have to eat to feel good. I have to eat to escape. I have to have a full tummy to fall asleep. But then I know the repercussions of the next day as I hate myself for being so weak. Beginning of the year, I finally woke up and said, I can't continue another year being like this. And I know what I have to do. I've been in depression before. I have to take action. I have to move. I got up and I said, I'm going to put my tennis shoes on. I'm just going to walk outside the villa, just up and down. The gang, not the main road, just the gang. If I can accomplish that, that's something positive that I've done. And I did. I crawled back to my room exhausted, but I did something positive for myself. And that little walk became longer and longer and longer. And then before long, it's a little bit of a jog. I finally broke a sweat. And it's a salty sweat, Daddy, because if you haven't sweated in a long time, your body retains a lot of salt. And I could just, when it dried, you could see the white salt on my skin. I knew I wasn't healthy, too full of fat and sugar. But I started burning it off. And slowly, my God, I would be ashamed to look at myself in the mirror. I'd never turn on the bathroom light. I wouldn't look at myself when I shave. Can you imagine avoiding looking at yourself when you're shaving? I wouldn't look at myself because I didn't recognize that fat old man in the reflection. But the day that I started looking at myself, it was like, you know how a butterfly goes through metamorphosis? It starts
Mhm.
as an ugly caterpillar with lots of hair,
Mhm.
then it cocoons and spins a beautiful threaded place to sleep, and then it comes out, it opens its wings, and it's beautiful. That's what happened to me.
Oh, amazing. So one could say it comes from one thing, and that is movement. You
Yeah,
move your body,
yeah.
and
Just
then
like
it just
Beyonce says, move your body, and those little black boys are just moving it. Jesus, what that
amazing.
video inspired me. I replay it and replay it and I replay it.
And also from science point of view, they call this BDNF. So when you exercise or when you move your body, it releases this hormone called BDNF in your brain, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor.
See what you know?
And so it also it helps to renew the brain cells caused or damaged by stress or depression.
Oh
So
God.
that's the beauty of movement. So
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I promote movement, like I said, with
Yeah.
all the
Yeah, I saw you in the gym. Boom, boom, boom with that punching bag.
amazing. So my next question is like, what have you read or listened to recently that inspired you?
Um, well, I haven't read it, but Netflix has amazing programs, especially now. And there's one about how we've reached the threshold of certain things that is irreversible on our planet.
Mm.
It's a bit negative, the news, but you know, it's a fact. And we all have to face it.
Mm-hmm.
We've warmed up by 1 degree, which has greatly affected the planet. It's causing the melting of the ice in Antarctica and the North Pole
Mm-hmm.
to such a degree that many coastal cities would be underwater.
Mm.
Poor countries like Bangladesh, New York, not poor, Florida, will be underwater, Daddy. Cities like Galveston, Houston will be gone. So it'll be mass migration to the inlands. Wars will be fought over fresh water. There will not be enough food to go around, so there'll be wars fought over lack of food. Infrastructures will break down. It's a terrible situation that we're headed to, and the future generations will have to face it and create a new world, either going to Mars or some, space station. So this network series has opened my eyes at how soon all of this will take place. Not in my lifetime nor yours, but our children's lifetime certainly. They'll see the overpopulation of this world diminish. Every resource, every wild animal will be extinct. There will be no longer bumblebees, bees, honey, pollination, animals. The animals of the savannah will all be gone because of human greed, overcultivation, over too much fertilizers. It's sad.
What are the things that you and I can do in the present time, or the viewers or people who watch this
I
podcast?
think the only thing that we can do is control what's in our life. Like, pick up the garbage that's in your area.
Yeah.
Discourage your staff from burning anything, even though that's what they want to do is burn, because it's so easy here to burn the garbage.
Yeah.
Um, do by example. If your dog poops on the street, not that that's wrong, but pick it up. So somebody will watch, a young person will say, oh, we need to keep our streets clean. So it's just take control of the area that you can control, that's your environment, and set an example.
I love that, because example is the most powerful tool, I believe, to transformation, or to help someone to see what you want them to see. So lead by example. Definitely support that. So if you could step into my shoes right now, what would you have asked yourself that I didn't?
I would ask myself, how did you start your business?
Yeah, how do you start your business?
I started it because I was scared of not having money and being ashamed that I had an MBA and had nothing to show for it. And but I was eager to learn, eager to work hard, willing to put in the hours, willing to sacrifice having a good time to focus on making money, and that's what I did. I became a furniture salesman when I was 24 years old.
Yeah.
My job was to take photographs of furniture and accessories and just do what's called cold calling. You just knock on the door of a furniture store and say, hello, my name is Billy Moon. May I show you what I'm selling? Most of the time the store owner says, I have no time. Did you make an appointment? I'm not interested. We're overstocked. Your prices are too high. You know, blah, blah, blah. But you have to get used to the no.
Yeah.
You just get used to it. And you say, thank you, I'll give you a call next time in town. I'm in town. And I get in my little red Honda Civic and drive to the next town, look in the phone book. These are all the interior designers, these are all the furniture store owners, and you start calling one by one. So that's how I started the business, and then by fluke, I came across 2 clay tanaliat pots that were being made in Mexico, and there was an opportunity to sell them in America, and I showed them to some people, and they loved them, Daddy. They said, Jesus, we've been waiting for something that looks like antique, handmade, by craftsmen. So I knew I had something, really something. So my dad let me borrow the black pickup truck, and I drove deep, deep, deep into Mexico, into a village called Ajijic, and there behind 2 black garbang, doors on the terrace were the clay pots. The same ones that I had, they were there. I bought 50 pieces, $8 each. Put them on the truck, wrapped rope around it and pieces of cardboard so they wouldn't break. I drove all the way back to Dallas. And I don't know if I was living with my parents, but I stayed the night with my mom and dad. And the next day my mother went with me to sell the pots. And we would drive to the parking lot of the store. And I unloaded it, and my mother would break her fingernails helping me, and she supported me 100%. And the first store bought everything I had, everything. And you might ask, well, you paid $8 for each pot. How much did you sell them for? And I made up a price. I knew that I was selling glass vases from Italy this tall, and the guy was asking $129. I said, well, my pot is this tall. It's not glass, but still looks good. So I sold it for the same price, $129.
Wow.
So very soon I was making enough money to go back to Mexico and buy a full container.
Yeah.
And then it got big enough to where I could rent a warehouse in America, and I had a distribution center. And I hired boys to help me unpack the trailer and ship it again to all the stores. And my dad came to work for me, my mother, my little brother, my nephew, not my nephew, my cousin.
How amazing.
And that's how it grew. It started as the Moon Collection, and then it grew quite big. It became nationwide, and I moved to Mexico when I was 28 years old, and I started my own little manufacturing company, and that grew to 200 people, and I stayed there for 12 years and built a really strong, nice business. But all good things come to an end. It came to an end in the year 2000 when I was 40. I went through a tough period in my 40s. Most men in their 40s, they feel like they've run out of time.
Mid-crisis.
It's a midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis.
Have I achieved enough? Am I where I want to be at the age of 40?
Yeah.
Many men divorce their wives, find a pretty young girl, buy a red sports car.
Yeah.
I didn't do that, but I spent money like crazy, foolishly, overspent, overextended, built a huge store, built a restaurant, got into businesses that I knew nothing about, and it just bled money everywhere. Every month was red everywhere. And I got to the point that I could no longer support the business. All the staff left me. The labor union took all the land from me, the buildings, and I went back to Irving, Texas, and stayed in a little bedroom where I grew up as a boy. That was my bedroom, and back home to Mom. And she told me, you can't just stay here and not work, you have to work. I remember thinking at that time, Mom, I'll never be able to work again. She said, you're not just sit here and do nothing. And I felt she was cruel and too hard on me, that she didn't understand what depression was. But it actually motivated me, and I did get a job. I got a job working in a warehouse. I started from zero.